Hey guys, what's going on? Joe at Total Just Gaming here. This is the deck profile that matches with the fight video I did. So this is my initial premium deck featuring Tachikaze, which I'm going to try and push very heavily into going forward for premium. Before we get started, do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Keep you notified when I get deck profiles put out there, and match videos. Whenever I can get to the shop, I'll be able to shoot a match video. I just wanted to run down. This is the initial deck. I plan on revisiting this deck often, optimizing it, or making different builds entirely, but this is the initial build. I have a lot of unique choices in this. Some of this is meta personal, I guess is the best way of putting it, because in my local meta I have a lot of players that play very either lock or out of combat removal tricks, so there's some stuff in here that you're probably not used to seeing or has already been considered outdated for the deck, or just an odd choice in general. But bear with me. If you saw the deck profile, I did get the win over Murakami, and that is a very difficult thing for Tachikaze, but I managed to get it. Barely. Trey is a fantastic opponent, always has been. That's why I like playing with him so much. But let's run down the list. Our starter is minimum Carno. He is just your very typical starter. When you ride on him, you draw a card, and if you go second, you also get the quick shield. He's our starter, so we run one of him. We do have a couple zeros in this, and that is in Shadow Dragon Little Tyranno. He is in here as a 2-of. We lose some shield power in premium, so I wanted to be able to put in 2 additional grade zeros. I made the necessary room in the deck. We'll discuss where that lack of shield comes from when we get to triggers. He is a Forerunner. We don't use him for that ability. He does have GB1 Counterblast 1. When you eat him and he's retired from the rear guard, by an effect, you can pay the cost. And if your Vanguard has the Engorge ability, all of our Vanguards do. You may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Called 2 cards with different names from among those 4 to the rear guard, and put the rest at the bottom of your deck. He's just really good at populating the field. Can possibly make up field advantage from Gorge, or combat removal from the previous turn, or just when they want to put pressure on your rear guards and you take a hit, this guy can resupply your rear guards just from being engorged. Also can possibly extend combos, because he does not say to open rear guard, so you can swing, munch him with the Vanguard, and then keep going Vanguard or rear guard, and then resupply 2 additional units to continue your attack. He's a combat extender, so we're running 2 of him. For Overtriggers, we're only going to be running the Cray Elemental Trigger. That's because I get to give 1 additional unit 10 bajillion power. I see this as the better Overtrigger for Tachikaze, rather than the Dragon Empire one, just because resetting your rear guard is fantastic. But in the Tachi decks I've seen, and in my builds, I want to put as much pressure on them via rear guard and continuous attacks. So I figure giving a unit a bajillion power on the Overtrigger, should I get it, just makes for a much higher rate of pressure on the opponent, and almost assuring a hit, or at least beating a perfect guard, or forcing them out to toss out a couple Sentinels, like 30k shields, to help prevent the hit. Well, they can't prevent the hit with 30k shields. What am I thinking? But, like I said, it baits out the perfect guard and continuously puts more pressure by putting power on a rear guard, and then additional power on the rear guard, or power on the Vanguard, and additional power on the another rear guard via its skill. I just like this because it just applies more pressure. If I say that anymore, I'll probably get in copyright trouble with Queen and David Bowie. So, as we talked about earlier, just a bit ago with Little Tyranno, we do have some shield. We do lack some shield because I am running 3 copies of Dinodile. The reason for this is we counterblast quite a bit in this deck, and Dinodile is one of the soul charge. Slip into soul if I have a Tachikaze Vanguard. Choose up to 1 damage in my damage zone, turn it face up. So he is a rear guard that soul charges and then counter charges. The downside is he is not reprinted in V-Series, though he is reprinted. He is not reprinted in V-Series style, so we are only looking at a 5,000 power boost and a 10,000 shield as opposed to a 10,000 power boost and 15k shield. Still, I do need the counter charge in this deck. I use Counterblast quite a bit. And this was also one of the few cards I still had left in my room when I was building the deck, so I didn't have to buy it. Moving right along, a lot of this is just like verbatim what is in a normal deck. We run 4 copies of the Pitch Stride Critical. Enough said there. Running 4 copies of the Heal Guard Perfect Guards. And running, of course, 4 of the Grade 3 Heal Guardians. So, you know, like I said, fairly straightforward. Moving on to the ones. We are running 12 grade 1s. The deck ratio in this is a little awkward and a little clunky. I made it work for me. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But again, this is my initial build, so things will change as we go forward. 4 Savage Shooter. This is your primary ride to target to ride. I almost debate, so long as you have a grade 1 and a grade 2 and a Spino in your hand, you pitch everything else and hope to God you draw a Savage Shooter. Anything else, consequences of the hand is kind of minute. So long as you get your straight shooter and you're able to abuse the ability, absolutely do it. His ability, I'm still not sure if it's male or female. The picture's kind of androgynous on this one. We'll say it's a dude. So it's 1 placed on Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, call a card from your hand to rear guard, and then gauge that card you called. Or on rear guard, rest this unit, put the top card of your drop zone face down as a gauge on one of your rear guards without any equipped gauge. So, the reason why we run this as a 4 of goes without saying. Its Vanguard skill is very good and very, very strong. Lets you superior call a grade 2, possibly a grade 3. Being able to call out a Gaia or a Spino on the first turn is very damaging. In my case, I was able to call out Command Sweep. Sweeperacrocanto, Clear Out Dragon. We'll just call him Clear Out Dragon. I was able to call Clear Out Dragon and be able to get 2 gauges on him by the first turn. And then on the third turn, because he was already so powered up from his ability, I could guard him easily. And very fortunately, I will make this very clear, I was very fortunate in that both games when I played him, and if I did get this ability, I did get the ability in the first game. Unfortunately, we lost the footage to that. Trey was not able to get the grade 2 that could get the character out of there. So, Clear Out Dragon stayed on the board and then eventually became a resist unit. Being able to get something like that out on the first turn and get 2 gauges to where he's sitting at 19k, waiting to become a 24k, is very devastating to the opponent. Plus, it gives him resist, and it's all thanks to this nice card. So, we're, of course, running this as a 4 of. We're running 4 copies of Blue Sprint. Blue Sprint is another one I wanted to run at a 4 of. I really did actually bounce around on running him as a 3 of, and then 1 or 2 of something else, only 1 baby Tyranno, but I just couldn't find what to do. So I went with 4 of him. He is our, when he swings on the first turn, get to gauge something that actually could have made Clear Out Dragon get 3 gauge on turn 1 had I had a blue sprint in hand. I never thought about that. So Savage, call Clear Out Dragon, gauge Clear Out Dragon 1, blue sprint, swing blue sprint, gauge Clear Out Dragon. Oh wait, before I do say something like that. Yeah. Gauge Clear Out Dragon, swing with Clear Out Dragon. Clear Out Dragon is a 24k rear guard with resist on turn 1. He also has the ability of, when you munch him, if you have him gauged, you can call that gauge out to the rear guard circle, so that also extends combos and extends attacks on your turn. I see it as only a bonus. Running 4 copies of Prism Bird. Prism Bird is our grade 3 searcher. Really, he's only there for that purpose. I mean, yeah, he does get the power up every time you gauge something, which is nice, but he's not your primary target. He's just kind of secondary and really just there for the grade 3 search. Moving into grade 2s. Now, this caused some confusion, and I will say this right now. I do understand Clear Out Dragon Sweeperacrocanto is not really used in a whole lot of decks anymore. That's completely understandable. I kind of have to use him because of my local meta. I understand Megarex is the king of the grade 2s in Tachikaze. I am still trying to figure out how to fit in those. I think maybe I can maybe run him down at a 3 of and bump other things down to a 3 of, or maybe a 4-3-2-2 scenario in my deck. But right now I am running him at a 4 of, mostly because I need more Megarexes. So every time we swing into a Vanguard, we gauge 1, we gain 5,000 power. And if he has 3 gauges, if he has 3 gauges, then we get resist. So, as I said before, my meta has Murakami, it has Link Joker, it has a plethora of Kagero. We also have Ghidorah. We have other decks that like to do out of combat removal, or lock, or cocoon, or just everything under the sun. So, what I did was tech him in, and since he gets resist, and I'm able to get resist on him pretty easily, using other cards, combos, or just strides to get him his gauge 3. He sits to resist, and then they have to physically fight a 24k that climbs higher and higher with power, or he's usually a 29 because he's sitting on the XL circle, or possibly even a 34 because he's sitting on the XL circle. Either way, he is a constant threat to the opponent, and they have to deal with it, and they can't get rid of him unless they physically kill him. So right now, he's sitting at a 4 of the deck. Again, this is personal choice. In this place would be Megarex. I will never say that he is better than Megarex, but right now, with the way my locals is going, he needs to be in my deck. This is why I run him. If you saw the fight video, you saw how devastating he was in that match. Next up, we are running 4 copies of Spinoextort. Because the deck is Spino, I want to keep in the theme. He is a Vanguard rear guard ability of when it attacks a Vanguard, we can counterblast, retire another unit, draw a card, call 1 card, and call 1 card from the equipped gauge of the retired unit. Then we gauge 1. So he just extends attack turns. For counterblast 1, we have Dinodile, so we could possibly even make that free Even though Dial Dino is also an act, and this is an auto. But, you know, we can counterblast next turn. We can soul charge, countercharge next turn, and get refunded for his ability and still maintain board presence. He is kind of like Megarex in the fact that we get to chomp, draw, and call, and then gauge. We just don't get the power boost that Megarex does, and we don't get it for free if it's on Vanguard. But he still is a very good card for attacking the Vanguard. He lets us continue our attack by calling out new rear guards, so long as we play our gauges correctly from the drop zone and know what we're gauging and what timing we need to be doing what. He is an excellent card. Next up, we got Regiment Dragon, Regiodon. He's our grade 2 blue sprint. I mean, that's all that he really is. He actually has almost all the exact same things as blue sprint, so he's in the deck for the same reason blue sprint's in the deck. He just extends combos and helps me gauge. For a grade 3s, we're running 3 copy of Gaia. Now, this confused a lot of people. Do I have, God, what's his name? The new one that came out not too long ago. I do. I certainly do. I am running him because we run heavy gauge. Should we have to call him, he is not our primary Vanguard. He is our secondary Vanguard. He still gets his excel. During our turn, we get to power boost anything with a gauge by 10,000 as opposed to 5,000. When he attacks, we can eat something, gain their original attack, and if the Vanguard is... The opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, one we munch, and engorge. We get to have an original... We get to gain a crit. So we get a power boost and a crit, meaning we're going to be sitting at a 21 most of the time, or a flat 20 with a crit of 2. So this is before it even triggers. My only real problem with him is he does not have engorge, and I just now realized Baby Tyranno doesn't work in this deck because none of us actually have the engorge ability. So why is that? Oh, for the shield. It's in there for the shield. So anyways, small things for me. We're running him for the power boost. During your turn, that means on the Excel circle plus gauge and ability that clear out dragons huge. All my grade 2s can possibly get it. My boosters can get 10,000. Pardon me. So, everything with a quick gauge gets 5,000 or 10,000. So, it just makes our board hit for super high numbers. The engorge ability is not super great. We're really just here for... I'm running 3 of him for the mass board power-up. We just need to be hitting consistently for high numbers on our turn, and that does let us do that. Now, the actual grade 3 is, of course, Ancient Dragon Spinodriver. Zoom in a little more. There we go. So, Spinodriver is our actual grade 3. We are mulliganing and using all of our search for him. He is 12,000 power. He gets an Excel. He does all sorts of fun stuff. So, when you attack, when this unit attacks from Vanguard Circle or is rode upon, we can counterblast 1, engorge on 2 rearguard units. We get an additional Excel Circle. We get to draw a card, choose a card from our hand, call it to rearguard, then choose 2, then power up 2 of our units by 5,000. Also, when a trigger hits, we get the ability to gauge the top card of our deck into one of our units. We're always going to be sitting on him, and we're going to be rewriting him and getting possibly 3 Excel circles out of 2 rides. Power up, draw, or he's just nasty to swing with in general, because he can get this ability when he swings, and we can swing with a column, munch that column, get an additional Excel circle. It's Excel 2, so we draw off the Excel, then we draw off the ability, then we get to choose 2 units, and give him 5,000 power, depending if we eat either Blue Sprint Grade 1 or Blue Sprint Grade 2. We get to also call from the equip gauge, and then refill what we just ate. So, Spinodriver is the Grade 2 and King of Tachikaze at the moment. So, that is why we were in it, and that is the main deck. Now, this is going to confuse a lot of you, because I do not have a good stride deck. God, I do not have a good stride deck. So, we were running 1 copy of Archraider. Archraider has your stride ability, and then choose a rear guard, retire it. When it attacks, we can boost it by 5,000, so he's a 20,000 stride. And when it hits, your opponent chooses a rear guard and retires it. If we hit the blue sprinter, if we hit the grade 2 blue sprinter or the grade 1 blue sprinter, we can call from gauge. Extend combos with them. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I found this stride in the room, and I thought, well, that's one less stride I have to buy. That is why Archraider's in the deck. There is no good reason you need an Archraider in your deck. I did put him in there because he was still in my room when I was looking for stuff. And I figured I'd save myself a little bit of money. Now, the real king of the dinosaurs in this deck is Gyangchuraptor. If you saw in my fight against Trey, I pretty much only strode him. And the reason for that is because he makes Clear Out Dragon monstrous. He makes we get a light Anger Blader effect with him because of his ability. We get his standard stride ability. Then once per turn, when a rear guard is placed on hand, we can gauge 3 from the drop zone. So if we have a Clear Out Dragon and have another Clear Out Dragon in hand, we can use drop him, get Clear Out Dragon onto the Excel or another rear guard, bump him up by 15,000, and then use Gyangchu's second ability, which is when he swings, Counterblast 1, and turn a G zone card in your G zone face up. Stand all your rear guards with 3 or more equip gauge. Choose the same number of your opponent's rear guards and retire. So, in an optimal situation, we're going to swing with 2 Clear Out Dragons, stand them, then swing with Gyangchu, get our drives, pay the cost, stand the Clear Out Dragons again to swing for 2 more attacks, which would mean we're already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks, and we haven't even swung with the whole other column. And then the opponent loses 2 rear guards on top of it. So we are running 3 of it. I wish I could afford more at the time, but, you know, work is work, money is money, and cards cost money. I got running 4 copies of Great Emperor Dragon Gaia Dynast. Gaia Dynast has your strike cost, it has a gorge ability, so we can use Little Tyranno. Only if we are stride onto Gaia Dynast. GB3 ability. Let me read that. When your rear guard is retired by this unit, we can counterblast 1. If you do, we can call that card to the rear guard, and then that unit and Gaia Dynast gets 3,000 power. We also have the ability of choose a Gaia Dynast in the G zone, turn it face up. When it becomes engorged, we can pay the cost. If we do, choose one of your rear guards and retire all rear guards in the same column as that unit, and then countercharge 1. So we get mass board clearance, the Engorge ability, and the ability to chomp and then refield with a slight power up to both the rear guard and the Gaia Dynast. I keep it in here for those abilities. It's good to have. Maybe once I get better strides, this will go down to a 2 of. I don't think I need to run this at a 4 of, but also I'm new to Tachi. So, you know. Running 4 copies of Gluttony Dogma. So, the reason why there is this one is, I remember this being the Big Bad King when I was playing when this just came out. So, I just hopped on and bought 4. Thankfully, they were at a good price. So, what's his ability? He also has Engorge. We are GB2 with him. When it's Engorge, if the number of units retired for this unit for this effect, Engorge ability is 3 or more. We can pay the cost if we do. We get 10,000 power, and then once per turn, until the end of this battle that this unit attacked, if the number of units during this ability paid for the Engorge effect is 5 or more, restand this unit, and it gets drive -1. So we get to munch all of our rear guards, and then restand it and get twin drive. Restanding vanguards are good. Plus, with all the skills we have, we get to probably only realistically -3 on our board, because if we chomp 2, we get to call possibly 2 back out via their blue sprint abilities. So this isn't too bad. Not bad at all. Again, we're probably going to drop this down to a 2 of. And then we just get Ganga. Blockade Ganga. That's our final. That was our final G-Zone area. It's our perfect shield. If we munch something, we get 10,000 power. There's really not too much about it. Or 10,000 shield, excuse me. And then we can choose up to 2 of our rear guards until the end of that battle. They get, if you retire them, bounce back to hand. So that means if we manage to guard twice, we can just start bouncing stuff back to hand rather than put them in the drop zone. Alright guys, that is my deck profile for this. This is a more newer constructed Tachikaze deck, as I am just now getting into Tachi Premiums. We will definitely be updating this deck as it comes out. I've already got some stuff ordered, so we will be optimizing the deck more and more as time goes on. There will be different iterations of this deck. Definitely when the new strike comes out, we will be getting rid of Archfiend, I promise. Maybe go down to 2 Glutton and 3 Gaia. Or 2 Gaia Dynasts and 3 Gluttons, and get rid of an Archfiend and make the Stride deck look a little bit more decent. If you have any questions, hit up the comments. I love to talk to everybody. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon.